And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored, a re-emerging traveling trend. According to a report, there's been a 182% jump in inquiries of people who are interested in moving to the Caribbean or Caribbean islands with golden passports. Now, those passports give dual citizenship to the Caribbean through investment programs. Our next guest, Deidre Mathis, owner of Wanderstay Boutique Hotel, has more details.
Is essentially you giving X amount of dollars to a particular country in exchange for a visa. So in exchange to live there. So in some countries, they're asking for a donation, or you can buy real estate, and in turn, you get to be a resident there. You get to live there. And that's so promising for a lot of people. A lot of people are on edge these days. We don't know when wars are going to break out or if they're going to break out. You know, prices are just increasing. So if you have the opportunity, to take $100,000 and have a resident somewhere else where will be safer, I think a lot of people are looking at that as their plan B. And a lot of people are tired. They're looking to get away, right? So it's like that vacation home, but along with that vacation home is that visa. So now you get to live there and experience life there as a resident.
When you mentioned it just a second ago, you said $100,000. I remember President Trump saying to come to America, I think it was what, 5 million?
$5 million. They had
5
limited
million.
interest. People, of course, were not interested in there. But I mean, just look at that. I mean, who has $5 million to get into America? If you have that type of money, you're not going to even need that visa. So that's just ridiculous.
But when we talk about the other prices, affordable for a lot of people, you're talking about $100,000 or a donation or committing to the country by buying land and real estate there, right?
Yeah, so it's going to help them out, right? So when you buy real estate, you're giving jobs, you're getting contractors, painters, people doing work. So you're pouring into their economy. They know that when Americans come over there, we're going to drive their economy, their restaurants, their tourism. Like where Americans go, the dollars are going to follow, right? So 100,000, which may not go very far even here in Houston, Texas, but if I can take that money to a beautiful island and buy a house, it may not be big, but it's beautiful, it's right on the beach. I can take that money and live life great. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are saying, hey, I'd rather take my money that I've saved, invested, or whatever else, and I'd rather use that to get me something somewhere where I have a plan B. I have an option if something should go wrong, or I have an option should I need to take it.
Now, I saw recently a report where a senior citizen from Seattle decided to move to another country. And for people who are thinking you have to cut all ties from the United States, she was still getting her Social Security that she's due here in America, and she's living off of it in another country. And instead of barely making ends meet like she would in Seattle, Washington, she's living like a queen. So you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have to completely cut ties with America, right?
Right. So if she's not a resident there, right? So it sounds like she didn't go there as a resident. Maybe she's here on a temporary visa, right? Or what a lot
Mhm.
of times what people do is call country hop. So if a country says, hey, you can be here for 90 days, they'll leave at day 88, go somewhere else, and then come back, right? So there's a lot of creative ways to extend a stay somewhere without becoming a resident, right? So that sounds like something that she's doing. I don't see her being, giving up her U.S. residency. She wouldn't be able to keep that money. So obviously, yeah, she's still, entitled to those funds if she's still a U.S. resident. Who says that she can't go on an extended vacation, right? Some people vacation for a week, some people vacation for a year. So who says how long you can, be away? So yeah, she can rightfully get those funds and live a much better life there.
And you hit on it, the nail right on the head. You mentioned that it's affordable, more affordable than many of the states here in our country, and your money will go a longer way. Will
Yeah.
that sustain, though? If you have a lot of Americans coming, they're like, all right, time to make some money off these Americans. Will
Yeah.
that last, Deidre?
Let's look at places like Tulum. I visited Tulum when Tulum was this quiet little place, not too many people knew about it. And then COVID happened. And then Tulum just blew up. Now they just built a large airport out there. So I don't think it will phase out as quick as we think. I think if anything, it's going to increase. So, we saw in that report where a realtor was saying that 97% of her clients are Americans. She's getting hundreds of calls every single day. And I know don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. So I think these countries probably have a sustainability plan. Hopefully they're planning for the dollars for X amount of years because, yes, one day it will run out. But Isaiah, I don't see that happening, honestly, anywhere in the near future, not in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't think so.